Hello, welcome to not quite the first video this year, but close. Considering it early stages of this year, I invite you to, one, get cozy with me. As you can see that I am wearing pajama pants, a sweatshirt, and I will be getting cozy with this blanket. I invite you to grab a snack. I have some type of cupcake that my mother brought home. You never need to be invited to be cozy or grab a snack on my channel. I just would like to extend that offer to you. I don't know why I'm talking so customer service professional right now.
3, 2, 1.
I had like this whole intro planned out in my brain. I just did not follow any of it. Welcome to 2024. Congrats on being here. I'm so happy that you're here and I'm proud of you for making it here. Now, without further ado, I am going to list 24 things I either want to do, work on, or just think about in 2024. I don't really believe in New Year resolutions because, one, it's not like immediately New Year, new me. You know what I mean? It's not like when the clock strikes midnight and it's suddenly January 1st, 2024. It's not like I am a whole new person. I am now a fitness queen. I am going to go run a marathon just because it's a new year. I'm still the same person. I may be worse than when I started 2023. Who knows? It's fine. We made it to 2024, and that is honestly all we can ask for sometimes. My goals, or whatever you want to call them, are things I have been working on in 2023, or it's just like things that I want to reprioritize in 2024, because 2023, I'm gonna be honest, for me at least, was not a great year. I feel like I regressed as a human, and that's okay. There's no reason for me to feel like I regress as a human beyond what's going on in here. Your progress in this world is not always gonna be a uphill trajectory. Something's gonna fall through the cracks. You're just gonna fall back into old habits, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Before this turns into a video about me just rambling about my life for the past year, I'm gonna get into some things that I want to work on for the next year. I'm gonna start with books because I feel like that is part of the reason some of you are here. So one of the books that I want to read this year is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. And I want to read this, one, because I feel like this was the book to talk about of 2023. I've heard a lot about it, and I feel like the concept of it is very interesting to me. The idea that a white author stole an Asian author's book who died and is publishing it as their own. I think that's interesting because I would love to just read the commentary it has on race in society and all of that. The second book I want to read this year is Breasts and Eggs by Miko Kawakami. If you've watched my last book superlatives video, you know that this is one of the books that I have yet to read from her, and I want to knock it off. I have big book fear, but I just need to get over it. It'll be fine. I'll read it, maybe, but it's just so daunting because it's like yay big and it's split into 2 parts, and it's just like, I will, for Miko. For Miko, I will do it. I will read anything that she writes. The third book is Funny Story by Emily Henry, and that is going to be one of her new releases this year. I'm currently reading Happy Place by her. By currently, I mean I literally read the first sentence last night, and nothing more than that. Emily Henry is a author I tend to gravitate towards because when I read her books, I know that it'll at least be a pleasant read. I have yet to be disappointed or extremely disgusted by anything that she has written so far. Let's hope that's the case for Funny Story. The fourth book this year that I want to read is Good Material by Dolly Alderton. And if you know me, you know that she is one of my favorite authors. First read Ghosts by her, and then I read Everything I Know About Love, and then she just got me hooked. Although I just finished Dear Dolly recently, not my favorite from her, but I think it's also because a lot of the questions that she answered weren't really applicable to me, and it's written like an article style where she has a question and she has her answer to it. Me reading it cover to cover doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I did it anyway. Good Material, I believe, is going to be another fiction that she's going to release, and I'm just excited for it. I liked Ghosts because of how honest the depiction was about like online dating and dating in general. It was a good read for me. I wouldn't say it's like a riveting page turner, but it's more for like the vibes, you know? The fifth book I want to read this year is Sweet Bean Paste by Durian Sukagawa. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. So this book I bought sometime last month, but I've just been seeing it more on the internet, and I am really excited to read this because, one, it's a translated literature from Japanese, which we know that I really enjoy, but two, I think the premise of it is someone's husband was released from prison recently. And here's the thing, I know nothing about this book, so this may be completely false. So if it's actually really untrue, I apologize for spreading false information, and this should help teach you to always fact check the things that come out of my mouth. So what I've seen on the internet is that this is about a person who was recently released from prison and talking about their reintegration into society. The sixth book is Stranger to Ourselves by Rachel Aviv. I'm currently reading many books, which typically is not my style, but I am currently reading this. I haven't gotten very far into it, and I think that I will like it, but for the place that I'm in right now, I do not want to read it. I'm not going through anything terrible right now. It's just like the mental space that I have that is free right now. I just want to read something light, something fluffy, something that'll warm me up. Stranger to Ourselves is a nonfiction book about mental disorders in general. It's about the stories of a bunch of different people who are going through some mental health issues, which right now I don't want to read. I want to read something light and fluffy. Because of the type of book it is, I don't want to force myself to read it if I am not feeling in the mood. So those are the 6 books I want to read this year. For sure. I am hopefully going to read more than 6 books this year. Going into more about my goals for this year. The first is I want to be intentional about my career path, because I feel like for the past couple of years, I kind of just like lived life without really thinking about what I want to do with my career. And it's not like my career is my whole personality. At least I try to make it so it's not. But being intentional about how I spend 8 hours of my day is becoming more and more relevant. A lot of the challenges I've been having recently is trying to balance my 9 to 5 with the life that I want to live. Whether that means like I stay in the same position and the same job that I am now, but I intentionally do so, versus right now it's like I am not intentionally choosing to stay where I'm at. It's just I kind of am too lazy to look anywhere else. So it's not like I'm saying that I'm going to change career paths. I'm going to change everything about my job. It's just making a conscious effort to stay or to leave and change career paths. I feel like a thread of all of my goals is I'm not really trying to act on anything, but it's more of like coming to peace with the choices that I'm making and or put more thought and intentionality behind the things that I'm doing. The next goal I want to have for this year is to spend more time alone. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. But I feel like a lot of the time that I spend alone nowadays is not necessarily intentional, which again kind of goes back to intentionally wanting to schedule time to be by myself. Most of the time I spend alone nowadays is just like by chance I don't have any plans and I don't have anywhere to go, so I am going to be alone. Thinking back to 2022, I did a weekend trip alone, and that did wonders for my soul. I look back at that weekend very fondly, and something like that where I'm fortunate enough to have that flexibility and the resources to do something like that. Not necessarily like I am going to spend a weekend alone, but maybe like I intentionally go to dinner by myself, or I intentionally do something by myself. Not because I didn't have any other plans, not because everyone in my house was out, but because I am specifically saying to me, Monday night, I am going to spend alone. I am making no plans at that time type of ordeal. The 9th thing on my list is updating my fitness routine. Yes, this is very cliche for New Year's resolutions, New Year's goals, whatever. It's not like I want to lose weight. I don't have an end in sight for me. I realize that moving my body in some way really helps my mental health. Updating my fitness routine to my 9 to 5 now is something that I want to be conscious about, because right now I can't will myself to wake up earlier in the mornings. So I go to my 9 to 5 and then I come back and I try to maybe squeeze in a workout, but like the whole day I'm like thinking about like, oh, like what if I don't have time to work out? What work am I gonna do? Because I was so used to working out in the morning and just checking that off my list. So when I say updating my fitness routine, it's being conscious about it. Again, it's just like I want to live my life more intentionally. If I choose to work out in the afternoon, that's fine. Where I'm currently telling myself every morning I'm gonna go wake up and I just like can't will myself to get out of bed, I will intentionally say I'll work out in the evening so I don't feel bad about myself in the morning. I can plan for that mentally and plan my night around it. Or like if I'm just like trying to take a walk, scheduling in time to take a walk, because I love my silly little walks where I listen to my silly little podcast and my silly little music and I walk and I just forget all of my problems for 30 minutes. 10th thing is I want to restart my monthly cafe visits. I don't know how and when this fell off of my calendar, and I fell off the habit of doing this. Before, I would visit a cafe every month, and that was just like me by myself going to either a new cafe or a cafe that I really enjoy, doing whatever I wanted, whether that was journaling, reading, just sitting and people watching. I spent time by myself in a cafe, ordering a croissant, perhaps a Danish if they have it, ordering a little latte. I miss it. That time that I spent at cafes was really good for me to check in with myself. I want to restart that. This month is a bad example because I don't think I'll be able to. Going down the list, the next one is I want to get back into journaling. I feel like this is a lot of my video as well, of like, this is something that I used to do that I just don't do anymore for whatever reason. I before probably journal at least once a week. Now I journal maybe once a month. For me, journaling just helps me clear my head. I watched this reel that said something along the lines of, if I ask you what 1 + 1 is, you know that's going to be 2. Hopefully. But if I ask you what like 1,432 divided by 37 is, you're probably gonna need to write it out unless you're really good at math, which if you can do that in your head, congrats. This probably doesn't apply to you. But like, you'll probably have to write it down. I say that because applying that to your life and like complex problems that you're going through, why do we expect people to figure it out in their brain when you can write it down to help solve the issue? And that's how I kind of view journaling in a light sense. When I'm really going through a problem and I really have something that I don't know what I want to do, journaling about it really helps me. And even when I'm not going through any big existential crisis, journaling just provides me a way to clear my brain a little bit, jot down the things that I did so I can refer back to it when I'm old and gray and be like, wow, look at what I wrote when I was like 25. I promise I will film part 2 of reading my old journals. It's just that because part 2 will cover my most recent journals, part 2, it would have been too recent for me to make fun of. But part 1 was like 2015. Oh my god, it was almost a decade ago. Oh god, I'm so sorry if I just caused anyone pain by saying that sentence. That was 2015, which was like 10 years ago almost. I am a completely different person than I was 10 years ago. But like, am I a completely different person than who I was in 2022? I don't know. I will do it. I promise you that I will do it sometime. I just don't know when, but I will do it. You will get it, I promise. And I don't make promises that often on this channel. I'm very non-committal. So journaling as a whole is something that I want to like get back into to do more often and schedule time to do so. The next one, I also had the same goal for 2023 and I didn't hit it, but I want to run on average at least once a week. So that means like if a week I don't run at all, like that's fine. Because some weeks I'll probably run twice, or some weeks I'll probably run 3 times. It's just like journaling. I feel like running helps me clear my head, especially when I'm really going through it. When I'm running, I am only focused on the pain that I'm in, that I can't focus on anything else. Beyond that, it's just like telling myself that I can do something and actually following through with it is how I feel like I build confidence of sticking to my word. When I tell myself I'm going to go out on a run and I actually go out on a run, I feel better. Notice how I didn't mention a time or a distance I wanted to run because I want to provide myself that grace. If I go out for a 2-minute run, that's fine. At least I went on a 2-minute run. You know, like I don't want to put any expectations of I need to run 4 miles a week because I don't think that's realistic for me at this point. Like I just don't think I'd be able to will myself to do something like that. The next thing on my list, kind of going back to spending more time alone, is doing a weekend trip alone. I know I mentioned when I talked about spending more time alone that I didn't necessarily think that was necessary. I don't think it's necessary to do so, but I enjoyed it. So why not? I'm fortunate enough where I have the ability to do so, and because I know how much I enjoy doing something like that, where I just like explore a different part of my city that I haven't explored before. That's something just like I want to do again. The next one is I want to post on YouTube on average at least once a month. I feel like last year me would have said I want to post on YouTube weekly. After going through this past year of actually trying to post weekly and then burning out and then not posting for like a couple of months and then jumping back into it, I want to be a little more realistic, a little more reasonable, and post once a month on average. I don't want to put too harsh of expectations on myself, but I still want to hold myself accountable. Like this is something I enjoy and I feel like it helps to get my creative juices out a little bit, but I don't want to force all of my creative juices out and leave myself with nothing left. Once a month, ideally. If that's just like a monthly vlog for the rest of the year, I'm gonna lose like half my subscribers, but that's fine. The next one, I know I said something similar to this last year. I'm going to tweak it a little bit. I think last year I said I'm gonna make some type of guideline about how I buy clothes, buy things. This year, I want to develop questions for new clothing purchases, because this year I feel like I got very caught up in the trends and the I just want to buy this because it's on sale mindset. I may wear it to this day, but it's like, did it provide me the happiness that I wanted it to? Likely no. Being more intentional about the things that I buy, developing questions, developing guidelines of if it's not a resounding yes, then it's a no. And then framing that into not feeling bad about it instead of a mindset of like, oh, I can't afford it. It's more of a I choose not to purchase it because of XYZ reasons. It provide me less guilt and it feel like I don't have something to prove. There's times where if I buy this item, then it will signal to people I have this thing. Why am I trying to impress people I don't care about? The 16th thing on my list is I want to make one new friend this year or become closer with someone that maybe I lost touch with or I'm not very close to now. I just feel like expanding my social circles can't hurt. It can't, actually. That's such a lie. That is such a lie. I lied blatantly to your face. It can't hurt. It truly can. Human beings are kind of shitty sometimes, but I'm pretty selective of who I am friends with and who I talk to by choice. But I've realized recently that expanding my social circles, getting out there a little more is something that I want to do. Who knows if I'm going to do it this year? I will do my best to. 17th thing is I just want to read either the same amount or more as what I read the past year. I didn't have a number of book goal for last year. I don't have a number goal of books I want to read this year. I want to avoid throwing myself into a reading slump where I don't read for a couple of months and I feel bad about it and I'm like, wow, I should really get back into it. I am not following this, but I should give myself the grace to just read whatever I want to without forcing myself to read any nonfiction. With that said, I think there's a balance for me where I kind of have to make myself read a nonfiction between all of my fictions, because otherwise I just will not read any of the nonfictions that I have. And my physical TBR is getting too big for me to not read any of the nonfictions I already have. The next thing I have, do something creative and or fun at least once a quarter. And once a quarter, maybe like, dude, why is that such a long time frame? I am trying to set the bare minimum expectations for myself. I don't want to say once a month because I don't think that's realistic for me to tell myself that I will do something creative / fun once a month. I don't count vlogging or anything YouTube related as part of that, unless it's like truly I am doing something creative and I just happen to be filming it. That's just something that I'm like, once a quarter, I think is honestly gonna be pretty hard for me to maintain. Different strokes for different folks. I have a hard time fitting in things just for myself intentionally. Who knows, maybe like on a whim one day I will just be like, I am gonna paint and that is what I'm gonna do. The next thing is very tactical, and it is I am not leaving dishes in my sink for 2 days in a row. I say 2 days because I feel like 2 days gives myself enough grace where if one day I'm just like, I cannot be bothered to even lift a finger, there's no way I'm washing this dish, that's fine. I will have the next day to do that. So 2 days in a row, I just don't like my dishes staring me in the face, haunting me, mocking me, reminding me that I have yet another thing that I need to do to become a fully functioning human being. Which, God, being an adult sucks. Truly, honestly, not fun. I would say I am only like 3/5 of an adult because I still live at home with my parents where most of the time I don't have to cook. But like thinking about the fact that like full adults have to cook every day and think about the things that they want to eat and plan for it and actually make it and or buy it, it's like, wow. It's so impressive to me. Every day? You're joking. Every single day. You have to consider what you're going to consume. I am going through so many tangents right now. I don't know why. The next two kind of go hand in hand. The first one is I just want to bake something fun, something for me, something that I want to bake for no other reason at least once a quarter. And again, with the once a quarter thing, that might seem like it's like very far-fetched where it's like you're only doing that like 4 times a year. Like, congrats. For me, I think that baking something for fun for me nowadays, I don't really do that. Like if I am baking, it's typically for a holiday, for a birthday, for some reason, and I very seldomly nowadays bake for fun, which is sad because I love baking. Along with that, my next goal is I want to cook something new once a month. And it's just like the same lines of I like trying new recipes. I like cooking new foods. The mental mind space and preparation it takes for me to do that, I just haven't had the motivation recently, where last year I was cooking a new dish every week. But now it's like I don't cook new dishes. I just rewind and repeat the old dishes that I know that I like. I think it's fun to try new dishes, even if they're bad. Even if I like spend 2 hours on something and I'm like, wow, this is aggressively mediocre. I enjoy the process of doing it. Once a month, I think, is reasonable for me right now. The 22nd thing on my list is I want to nurture my inner child. And to me, what that means is I just want to do the dumb little things, the silly little things that if someone saw a fully grown adult doing, they may be like, are they right in the head? But to me, it's like fun. Why not go down that slide that you see at the park? Who cares if you are a fully grown adult doing so? If you want to skip in a field, do so. I want to nurture the kid in me and not feel embarrassed or weird that I am doing dumb things, that I am doing things that I'm too old for. Like whatever that means to you. It doesn't matter what it is as long as you're having fun. Having fun in a way that doesn't hurt or negatively impact anyone else. That's something that I haven't been doing as much as I would want to. By as much as I would want to is I haven't been doing it at all because I am too embarrassed. And the times that I do the silly little things like going down a slide, I'm like, wow, that was so fun. Like that, I actually had so much fun on that slide. Who cares? Genuinely, who cares? Life is too short to be taken this seriously. Now I'm gonna go on to my musings, which basically just questions that I want to think about this year. What am I gonna do with those musings? Who knows? I just want to think about these. Again, following the thread of intentionality, I just want to get my thoughts down. Whatever may come of those thoughts, I will deal with when they come out. The first musing, along with the first goal of this year that I listed, I just want to kind of think about what I want to do with my career. Because here's the thing, more of like a high level than being intentional with what I am, my career path right now. I want to think like high level, what do I want to do? Because like the amount of times I've thought about quitting my job in the past couple of months, working as a barista at a bakery, like I thought about that so many times in the past like couple of months, and I've like truly been considering it, right? I love making silly little lattes at work. I love baking, and like I genuinely want to think about whether or not I would want to do that as a career. Like as of right now, it's like I'm just comfortable in the life that I'm living. There's nothing forcing me to change, so I haven't. But thinking a high level of like, what do I actually want to do with my life? When I die, what do I want to say like I've accomplished? I can make a whole career path for the next 10 years and that can all go to shit. That's exactly what happened to me when COVID hit. Like I was graduating college and I was like, I know exactly what I'm gonna do for the next 5 years, and then COVID hit and that just like fell kind of down on the drain where I'm like, I actually have no plans. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm in that place now where it's like, do I just want to say screw it and quit my job and do something that society would say like is irresponsible, but like I'm having fun with it? Maybe. What do I want that to look like? Just being thoughtful about what I want that to look like is all that I am asking of myself. Of like high level, if money was not an issue, what do I want to do? I have answered that question for myself before, but whether that has changed now or like I'm becoming more serious about different career paths is something that I just want to think about, muse on. As muse on a term, actually? The last thing is my financial priorities and what they are. I forget the author, but the author who wrote I Will Teach You to Be Rich has a YouTube channel. He made a video basically saying defining what your rich is will help guide how you spend your money, and defining what the little luxuries in life that you are willing to spend money on that will help make you feel rich is helpful in defining where you should allocate most of your money towards. So like for me, I really like traveling. I really like food. Every time I spend money on traveling or food, I have never regretted it. I can't say the same about clothing purchases, where I could buy something and I'd be like, why did I buy that? Like that was not a great idea, which is part of the reason why I want to develop questions about how I buy material items, because for me, that doesn't make me feel rich. There are very few things that I buy materialistically that make me feel like I am living a life of luxury. But when I travel, no matter, even if I'm staying in the worst hotel or Airbnb or hostel possible, I'm still like, wow, I'm still in a different country, and that is a different type of luxury. For me, I just want to define what my financial priorities are, and that way I feel less guilty saying no to things. If I say no to spend money on like XYZ, that's fine. That's not in my financial priority. And if my friends or whoever I'm with can't respect that, that is a different issue. At least I'll know internally where my priorities lie, because your priorities can shift, so it doesn't really matter. It's just like, as long as you have them, what you do with that information is up to you. I'm gonna go. I have rambled on long enough. I hope this video was entertaining, helpful, reassuring. I don't know. Watching the rambling thoughts of a 25-year-old who really is going through it right now for no apparent reason is entertaining for you. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something from it. If you want to, feel free to leave some of your goals, books you want to read, musings down below, or if anything that I said resonated with you. Would love to hear that too. I am gonna eat my cupcake because I haven't taken a bite of it, and like my initial plan was to eat it as I filmed this. I really didn't want to cause that ASMR right now. So if you liked this video, feel free to give it a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't yet and you want to. I will see you in the next one. Bye! Also, I will just like to have everyone know that I hit my head with a weight like an hour ago. It wasn't hard and it wasn't fast, but it hurt. If I sound a little stupider than I normally do, I'm using that as my excuse. I do not think I'm concussed. I believe I am fine. But only time will tell. Dude, I'm getting so congested for no reason. I need to scratch my nose. This arm that's been holding this mic, numb. Dude, oh my god, I am so like scatterbrained today.